Bring the jury in, please. The defendant and counsel are present. Witness is back on the stand, and she has been sworn. Okay, we're back in session. The jurors are present. The witness has been sworn. She's on the stand. You may proceed.
And could you state your name for the court?
Courtney Last.
And previously, did you give out your maiden name?
That's correct. It was Tremmel.
And back in July of 2011, where were you employed?
I was with Raleigh Police Department.
And what was your role at Raleigh Police Department?
I was a computer forensic analyst.
What kind of training did you have to be a computer forensic analyst?
I went to hundreds of hours of training courses through various vendors, NCASE, Access Data Forensic Toolkit training, which was the softwares that we utilize. I received 2 certifications, one through IASIS, which was 8 months of various trainings and practical exercises.
And what is IASIS?
It's International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists.
And you completed that certification?
That's correct.
And does that make you a certified forensic computer examiner?
Correct.
And you had to take an exam to acquire that?
Yeah, it was an 8-month process.
And have you previously been called upon to testify as an expert in court?
I have.
You mentioned that are you certified on NCASE?
I am.
And what is NCASE?
That is the forensic software that we utilize to conduct these examinations.
When you receive digital evidence, how do you begin an investigation of it?
A detective will request that various pieces of evidence be examined in a particular case, depending on what I get. Typically, it would be a computer. I photograph, document the evidence, and from there, I go on to examining it through various steps.
And when do you make a digital copy of the computer?
I make what is called a forensic image, and it's most people are familiar with like a ghost image, but it is different from that in that a forensic image is a bit-for-bit copy of the hard drive. So every piece of data on that hard drive has been copied over, and we can verify that through a hash value. We run a hash analysis on the original evidence, make a copy, run a hash analysis on the new evidence, and then do a third hash analysis on the original to make sure nothing was changed throughout the process.
So you have a computer that you want to investigate, and the first thing you do is make a forensic copy of that.
Yeah, kind of.
One of the first things you do.
Yeah.
Okay, and in doing that, how do you make sure that you don't affect the data on the computer that you want to investigate?
We use a write blocker so that nothing gets transferred, and then, like I said, we do a hash analysis, which is basically a fingerprint of that data. It gives us a 64-digit hash code that gets compared throughout the process to make sure nothing was changed in the original and that the new copy is the exact same as the original.
So that hash is like the fingerprint of a computer?
Mm-hmm.
And is it some algorithm that
Yeah, it's a long mathematical algorithm that is calculated, and only that piece of evidence would have that hash value.
And if you were to change that piece of evidence in any way, no matter how minute, would that hash value change?
It would.
So after you make the forensic copy, you then compare the hash value for the forensic copy with the original computer to see if they're the same?
That's correct.
And they should be the same?
They should.
Okay. And after that, you then examine the image copy of the hard drive as opposed to looking at the original hard drive?
That's correct.
Your Honor, at this time I tender Ms. Lass as an expert in forensic computer examinations.
The court accepts the tender. You may examine her.
Ms. Lass, in this matter, before this jury, were you called upon to examine some digital evidence stemming from the July 2011 disappearance and murder of Laura Ackerson?
I was.
Okay. And when you received this digital evidence, for all the digital evidence, did you follow that procedure that we just spoke about?
I did. It's a little bit different for different pieces of evidence, but for the computers, that's the exact.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Ms. Lass, before you is what's been marked as State's Exhibit A487 for identification purposes. What is that object?
This is the computer forensic report that I put on 3 CDs of the victim's computer. So this is the report I created after I examined the hard drives.
And then that report that she generated, was that a digital report?
It was.
And so you copied that onto some CDs?
I did.
And then did you give these CDs to the detectives who then put it into evidence?
That's correct.
And you see their initials on them?
That's actually my initials, so
Your
I put it into evidence.
Okay.
hmm
And State's Exhibit 487 is the forensic report for the victim, Laura Ackerson's computer?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit A488, is this 2 CDs containing the computer forensic reports for the victim, Laura Ackerson's external hard drive?
That's correct.
And showing you what's the marks of State's Exhibit 489, is this the part of that external hard drive?
That is the external hard drive in there, yeah.
Okay. And the bag's falling apart a little bit.
I can see it right there.
This black object is the external hard drive?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, this time I move into evidence State's Exhibit 487, 88, and 489.
Let me see.
So those are all materials from Laura Ackerson's computer and her hard drive, correct?
That's correct.
Now, State's Exhibit 492, is this a CD containing the report of the investigation that you did into Karen Berry's computer?
That's correct.
Okay, and that computer is from Texas?
That's correct.
And then additionally, State's Exhibit 493, is this a CD containing the report from Grant Hayes' parents' computer?
That's correct.
Your Honor, at this time I move to enter State's Exhibit 492 and 493.
Let me receive.
And then State's Exhibit 495, is this 3 DVDs containing the examination that you did of the 2 iPods that were taken from Grant and Amanda Hayes?
That's correct.
Okay. And those items were seized in Kinston via search warrant and provided to you?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time I move to enter State's Exhibit 495.
Let me receive.
And then State's Exhibit 490, is this a hard drive containing all the computer forensic images that you did pursuant to this case?
Correct.
Okay. So all the data that you acquired from all these different computers or iPods, you put on one external hard drive?
Those are from the computers. The iPods are separate.
Okay. So this is just from the computer images?
That's correct.
Your Honor, at this time I move into evidence State's Exhibit 490.
Let me receive.
Starting with State's Exhibit 488 and 487, both of these, well, 488 comes from this external hard drive, is that correct?
That's correct.
And 487 comes from Laura Ackerson's computer.
Correct.
Your Honor, may I publish parts of State's Exhibit 487 and 488?
You may.
Madam Clerk. Ms. Last, before you, is this the computer forensic examination report from that external hard drive?
It is.
And this long numeric and alphanumeric part of this sentence right here, that's the hash value?
That's correct.
So that, you compare that to what the original hash value was of the computer and that, or of
The hard drive.
And that's how you know that they're the same and it hasn't been affected in any way?
Correct.
Okay. On this hard drive, did you find multiple videos and recordings that Laura Ackerson had made?
There were.
Okay. And did it appear that Laura had put on this external hard drive a bunch of recordings that she made of encounters from a digital recorder?
That's correct.
And for instance, is this the type of videos that you found on there under the title "Bring Them Home"?
That's correct.
And just for instance, this number 2, there was a note that said Grant III's first interference with Laura's telephone conversations with the boys.
Yeah, that's the name of the file.
Okay. And is this the, I guess, address of the file that it's under not music, Ginger Calloway, Bring Them Home, and then it appears to have a date?
That's correct. That's the file path.
Okay. And you were able to get the created, access, and last written data?
That's correct. And the file created date would be after, like for instance, the name has 8/10/2010, but the file created date is after that because that would be the date that she moved them to the hard drive.
Okay. And take this away for 1 second. Moving down to item number 472, did you find a dictation of this is what the name was of this document?
That's correct.
Okay. And the recording was number 10102801?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Your Honor, I've asked to publish that recording at this time.
All right.
And as I pulled that up, Ms. Lass, and here I show you, is this actual recording here, 474, is 10.29.10.4:53 p.m. .mp3?
That's correct.
And an MP3 is an audio recording?
It is.
Your Honor, may I publish that file at this time?
You may.
It is 7 minutes until 5 o'clock. Today is October, is it recording? It is recording. Today's October 29th, 2010. It's Friday. It's 4:54 p.m. I'm headed to Sheets. I'm about, a minute away. Over this, I think it was this week, I wrote Amanda an email after she showed a large amount of disdain for me in front of the children. I'm going to find out if she received that email, and we'll see what happens. If she hasn't, I'm going to address the situation with her verbally, and hopefully she'll be compliant. The situation is that she's having a little emotional outburst in front of the kids, and I think it's inappropriate. So we'll see. I'm going to pause this until I get 2 sheets. There we go. Okay. I'm leaving the rest of the sheets, and it's just still a few minutes before 5.
All right.
Hey, we're getting hot and so you're putting in the fire. All right, thank you, man. You're good. You're good, good. Hey, donut.
It's a donut. Yeah, it is. Blueberry donuts. I love you. See you next year. All right. I'll see you Sunday. Yeah. You see mommy? You see mommy? Oh, it's okay. Look at me. It's okay. It's okay. I love you. It's okay. Hey, Amanda. Can I talk to you piece of bits? I want to get good stuff. What's that? I'll get good stuff. Can I talk to you piece of stuff? You just made us late last week and it was something for Shay, so you could just let us know like in advance if we're going to be late. That would be awesome. You guys have been late before and I don't think after Laura, we have never been late more than 5 minutes ever because I am very anal about being late. So I can guarantee you we have not been late. And the day that we were late, on the rainy day, we were 6 minutes late because I had done not even talking about it. That's what I'm talking about. What the original hours if you're having working, and then I understand it's kind of a conversation about, but if we just remain cheerful and I would just feel you don't even think about that. I don't, you just do that. Okay, so we're doing this.
And Ms. Latz, does that appear to be 8 minutes into this recording that has some more time on it?
That's right.
And at some point in that recording, you could hear a person identified as Amanda say, I would just assume we don't even speak.
That's what it sounded like.
Okay. That was kind of hard to hear.
Yeah.
On Laura's computer as well, in addition to this hard drive, there is a tremendous amount of recordings like this where she had recorded conversations with the little boys and with Grant and all material that she had kept presumably for custody evaluation.
That's what it seemed like.
Now, you mentioned that you also did a forensic examination of Karen Berry's computer.
That's correct.
And this might be somewhat difficult to see, but is that a picture of the computer?
Yes, it is.
And on that computer, did you find that Karen had, that there were several different logons to that computer, and the last successful logon appeared to be under the username Karen from July 21st at 9:42 in the morning.
That's correct.
And there are several other log-ons that appear on this report.
That's right.
And on this, did you do a keyword search for the name Ackerson?
I did.
And did you do that because you wanted to be able to determine where, or what purpose did you do that for?
Well, there's various things that, various steps that I would take to examine a computer or hard drive. One of them is a keyword search, and if we have a particular word or piece of evidence that we may be looking for, a hard drive can hold words all over it. I mean, it could be anywhere on the hard drive, so I do a keyword search, and it searches the entire hard drive for various words. And Ackerson was a particular word that I assumed would only appear if something was searched or looked for.
Okay. And as a result of that, we're able to find 20 hits for the word Ackerson, but you weren't able to determine what sort of files they were associated with?
That's correct.
Okay. And is this an example of the language that a computer spits out to you that you're able to carve in?
Yeah, I believe, is that in the page file?
Yes, ma'am. It says pagefile.sys.
The page, and there's various locations that these words can be found, but the pagefile.sys in particular is a memory file. It's a hidden file to the user where files can be swapped in and out to maintain the memory in the computer. So it does not create files in a nice format. In simple terms, it just puts the files all over that pagefile.sys file, so it's not in a readable format per se.
And using these forensic tools, you're able to try to discern where that hit came from?
Yeah.
Okay. And additionally, were there several logins that you found that were for granthayes@hotmail.com?
That's correct.
And specifically found login information from July 18th from 6:48, 6:50, and 7:07 p.m.?
That's what it looks like.
And additionally, did you also look at Grant Hayes' parents' computer?
I did.
And is that a picture of the computer in your report here?
It is.
Now, in the internet history, did you find that there were searches for Laura Ackerson on WITN.com on July 24th at 2:52 p.m. and 10:27 p.m.?
That's correct.
And you also found login on this computer for, again, granthayes@hotmail.com.
That's correct.
And additionally, moving down the page, did you find information on a pay-as-you-go website?
That's correct.
Okay. And these were temporary internet files that were viewed on July 24th and July 25th?
That's correct.
And the phone numbers associated with those were 744-7651 and a number ending in 8581?
That's correct.
Additionally, did you find login information for Amanda Hayes' online banking account with the RBC from July 23rd at 10:15 p.m.?
That's correct.
Now, as part of this investigation, you also examined Laura Ackerson's computer. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Clerk, Your Honor.
All right.
During your investigation of that computer, did detectives also execute you could find things on Laura's computer that were in the cache of the computer, that is the history of the computer?
That's correct.
And it might be in the internet history, or it could be somewhere else in the computer that might be hidden to the user that you would have to search for?
That's correct.
Additionally, detectives also execute a court order to get Laura Ackerson's email.
They did.
Eric, our first witness.
You may.
Class, I hand you this, what is marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 580. You can look through there. Do those all appear to be emails from Laura Ackerson or to Laura Ackerson?
That's what it appears to be.
Okay. Your Honor, this time I move in evidence State's Exhibit 580.
Let me receive.
And Your Honor, I'm asked to publish State's Exhibit 580.
All right, let us see. You may publish.
Ms. Lass, in someone's email there can be thousands and thousands of emails. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
All right, and there's not thousands and thousands of emails before you, are there?
No.
There's just a select group. Is this a chain of emails that is at the beginning of this exhibit?
That's correct.
Okay. And the email that's at the top of the page, is that from, appear to be from November 3rd of 2010?
Correct.
Okay, so the oldest email, would that be at the bottom of the page or on the second page from October 24th of 2010?
Yes, sir.
And could you read that email for the jury?
Sure. Amanda, I understand that you were upset today because I was 15 minutes late. I am sorry for the inconvenience I caused you. I would like to address the attitude you have towards me in front of my children, though. I understand that Grant III has probably told you that I am the worst person in the world, among whatever else was useful for him to say in the moment. I understand that sometimes I may look like it, like when I made you drive to Wilson in order to keep the court order. Please understand something from my side of the fence, though. I am a mother of two sweet boys who didn't ask to be put through this mess. The last thing they need is to see the person they spend their week with upset at their mommy. If you could please contain yourself in front of them, it would be appreciated. If you have something you would like to say to me, I totally understand and welcome it, just when they are not in earshot. Thank you for your understanding, Laura.
And that appears to come from ljanackerson@gmail.com.
Correct.
And then moving up on the bottom of the first page, does there appear to be a response from Amanda Smith at the email address appalmtree@gmail.com?
Correct.
And what does that say?
I'm not too sure what you are talking about at all. If there were ill feelings over the exchange last Sunday, they were not on this side of the family. Amanda Hayes.
And then could you read Laura's response from October 31st at 7:48 p.m.?
Very strategic response. Thank you. Please keep it under control for our boys. I am talking about the time you yelled over Grant the Fourth's head. You started this outside of Grant III's parents' house, for instance. I'm talking about the obvious attitude you had towards me after I followed the court order and made you guys follow it too. I'm talking about the consistent, open, disrespectful attitude that you have towards me because you are angry with me, that you show in front of Grant IV and Gentle. I know you care about them, so please understand that I am their mommy. If you are openly angry toward their mommy, they don't know what to feel. For their sake, we should be cordial or cheerful in front of them. But if you have something you would like to express to me, I don't mind a bit as long as they are out of earshot. Laura.
And then does there appear to be a response from Amanda on November 3rd at 8:53 p.m.?
There is.
And what is
Laura, I'm assuming you are off work for Thanksgiving. Why don't you join us for dinner? I think it'll be a good family time. Maybe you can make a dish, a pie, or the turkey if you'd like. You can cook it here if you want to come up early. I think the boys would enjoy that. What do you say? Holidays are important and these memories will be in their photo album. They don't have to know this was happening.
And what is Laura's response on November 3rd at 9:45 p.m.?
Thank you, but I have plans for them on that Friday. Also, until this is actually over, I can't come to your home again. I'm sorry. I would love to spend as much time with my boys as I should be, but allowing Grant III yet another opportunity to accuse me of ludicrous things would go against common sense. Thank you for being kind, Laura.
Okay. Does it appear that "as I should be" is in italics?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
The next email, is that from July 12th of 2011 at 9:45 a.m.?
That's correct.
And is it from laura.j.ackerson@gmail.com could you read the email address of the group it's to?
Family and friends affected by ASPD at googlegroups.com.
And do you know what ASPD is?
I don't.
Okay. Could you read this email?
Elizabeth, the law is still on the side of the biological parent, usually the mother. You have to stay determined and unhindered in this fight. This is the battle of your son's life. You have to win, regardless of who the judge is.
And the "you have to win" is in capital letters, is that correct?
That's correct.
On July 12th at 9:51 a.m., is there another email from Laura Ackerson to this family and friends affected by ASPD at googlegroups.com?
There is.
And could you read that?
If you don't have a lawyer, contact Prepaid Legal and get a plan. Then you can call an attorney and get play-by-play instructions. I'm sorry, I'm just letting all the unasked for advice out, but you gotta know that you are the only person who is able to fight for your child. If you don't do it, no one will. Laura Ackerson.
Is there another email from July 12th that's from a Grant Hayes at hotmail.com to Laura J. Ackerson at gmail.com?
There is.
And so this email is from Grant to Laura,
That's correct.
and what does it say?
If you want to try the midweek thing again, you can come up tomorrow. Let me know so I can make arrangements with Lauren. I might not be able to stay the whole time because I have packing to do.
And what time of day is that?
That's at 9:25 p.m.
This is July 12th.
July 12th, 2011.
At 9:52 on that night of July 12th, does Laura appear to respond to Grant?
She does.
And what does that say?
Okay, I'll be there. When and how long will I have with them before you decide they have to leave? In parentheses, this way there is no chance of an over-emotional goodbye. We all know what's going on, not just you.
And on July 12th at 10:53 p.m., is there a response from Grant to Laura?
There is.
And what, could you read the first paragraph of that response?
We left the last time because they were vacuuming and putting the chairs up, not because I decided anything. Since the manager is a friend of mine and lets us in for free, the last thing I want to do is keep folks from leaving early if the place is clearing out. If you want no chance of an over-emotional goodbye, that's simple. I have them 5 days a week. We spend every day all day together, and I manage to avoid it. The key is for you not to get emotional. Quick and dry, do what I do. Bye, I'll see you later. Kiss, kiss, and walk off. But if you want them to miss you or believe that they do and begin consoling them, well, those emotions will bubble up. There is no reason for them to be wrecked emotionally by something that should be a fun surprise. Mommy's here, yay. That's what I'm going for here.
And I apologize. The last email was at 9:52 p.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
From Laura to Grant. And then does it appear that there's another response? This 9:52 from Laura to Grant, is that another response? Or is that the same response as the one on the prior page?
It's the same response.
Okay. So after Laura responds to Grant, okay, I'll be there, and this text about the over-emotional goodbye, that's when Grant Page responds to Laura, these two paragraphs?
That's correct.
Okay. And could you read the second paragraph? And I apologize for interrupting you.
That's okay. 3 is good. Don't forget socks as far as leaving. It depends on you and them. They have been losing interest in the place and we haven't been staying as long lately. Target is the new hot spot. We just went over tonight, ran around and trashed the toy section. An hour and a half later we left with we left with was Jell-O and diapers. I let them eat a snack, then see how quickly they leave the table. If they're sluggish and don't want to play anymore, I guess you can sit there and kick it with them for a while until they feel it again. I might not be able to stay the whole time, but I will come back and get them, or you can drop them off if you have to go, since saying goodbye is such a huge deal. That might be your preference.
And after that response at 10:53, does that appear in the middle of the next page of this exhibit?
That's correct.
Okay. And at the top of that page, at 11:12 p.m., does it appear that Laura responds to Grant?
That's correct.
And could you read that?
You're emotionally numb yourself, and you think it's okay to be cut and dry with our kids. It's not. Normal kids need normal hugs to grow up normally. Cut and dry leaves you with sick kids that grow into sick adults. I'm not drawing things out of them. You are cruelly short, and unless I do as you say do, everything has to be blown out of proportion. I'll come. We'll have a set time for a beginning and ending of a meeting with 5 to 10 minutes to transition to a goodbye unless there's some sort of fire or emergency.
Does it go on to say, is that okay with you?
Is that okay with you? Yeah.
And the next response in this chain, does it appear that Laura then texts Grant, moving on to page 11, which I think is 2 pages in front of that, is the next response from Laura to Grant at what appears to be 11:13 p.m.?
That's correct.
Okay, so Laura sends an email to Grant at 11:12 p.m. on July 12th, and then she sends another email to him at 11:13 p.m.
Correct.
And what does that one read?
As a side note, I ran across this. It's a link to a website, and I thought you might like it. Enjoy.
And then is there also a response from Grant at 11:26 p.m. on July 12th? I guess it would be the page in front of the email you just read.
Oh, I'm sorry, 11:26, yeah.
And could you read the text of the first paragraph of that email?
I'm not going back and forth with you all night. Watching Chelsea with the wife. You always find something to criticize me about at an exchange, i.e. my car safety, the smell, or something else unresolvable and unnecessary. You have all this time to email, so why can't you just address those things online like you will anyway? Why does it always have to be at an exchange? I never hang around your car or question you at exchanges. I say bye to the kids on the way there so they are ready to go when I arrived. They know they will see me again, and they know they will see you again. The routine is old hat and doesn't need to be gone over twice a week. But whatever, they are your kids too, and if you want to have that kid of relationship with them, that's your prerogative. And for the record, I said quick and dry, as in no tears. No need to make you the bad guy, dragging them off kicking and screaming. You didn't take them from Daddy. Daddy left them with you, and now Daddy's going home. See you later. Please don't bother responding to this email. I don't care. You got your own issues, of which I'm fully aware of. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. I think it would be a nice surprise if you want to come. That's where we'll be. You're welcome.
Okay. And then after that, does there appear to be some sort of article copy and pasted into the bottom of this?
That's correct.
And is that article titled, "In exchanges should be smooth, peaceful, and devoid of emotional intensity"?
Correct.
On July 29th, on July 12th at 11:29 p.m., does it appear that Laura responds to Grant?
She does.
And what does that say?
Just tell me when I can see my kids, when we'll have to say goodbye, and then stick to it. I'm not bothering to read babble below.
And then at 11:33, does she email Grant Hayes again?
She does.
And what does Laura say?
I have appointments in Wilson until 3 p.m. tomorrow, so anytime after 4:30 is great.
And then does Laura email Grant again at 11:48 p.m.?
She does.
And could you read that email?
And I apologize for even putting a bit of bicker out there. Sorry for even trying to reason. Sorry. Thank you for offering to let me see Grant the Fourth and Gentle at all during the week. Our standards for parenting are very different, and it is the most frustrating thing I know of to deal with a partner parent who doesn't view love in the same light that I do. So thanks and sorry.
And then at 1:18 a.m. on July 13th, does Laura email Buddy Shoemaker?
She does.
Okay. And could you read that email?
Do you want me to start from
I guess, does it appear that Laura Ackerson at 2:55 p.m. on July 12th, emailed Heidi, what's the word on you, as Charlotte?
Correct.
Okay. And then Heidi responded, I'm headed down this weekend to look for jobs at 1:15 a.m.
Correct.
And then on July 13th at 1:18 a.m., could you read that email?
Awesome. Can you pick up any magazines you see around? I'm talking whatever you see at the library, shopping, wherever. I'm thinking about pitching a mag in a big city and want to see what they have out there already. Checking websites can only go so far. So happy for you. Can't wait till August. Dude is just pure frustration. Wondering, do you think I should call on his ex-wife? I need to round up a few witnesses.
Okay. And the next email is out from Laura to what appears to be Barbara Patty at 1:34 a.m. on July 13th.
It does.
And could you read that email?
Got a ton out of Monday and really, really needed it. Totally looking forward to Sunday as well. I forgot to tell you on Monday that I spoke with John and he is saying that I need to round up witnesses. Yay, finally, for August 15th. Can you come? Laura Ackerson.
After that email, is there an email on July 15th from Grant Hayes to Laura Ackerson at 4:08 a.m.?
There is.
And what does that one say?
Would you like to keep the boys for the week till Sunday the 24th?
And on July 15th at 1:56 p.m., is there an email from Grant Hayes to Laura Ackerson?
There is.
And could you read that one? And is it the last one in the batch there?
It is.
Okay. Could you read that?
1, I don't know if you lost your phone again or you have problems with your internet again, but this is not cool. 2, Coley hasn't heard anything from John, and he told me that John is going to be gone all next week. You are not holding up on your end of things at all, and that's real fucked up. And I don't care if you read this in court because it is real fucked up. I mean, seriously, we are trying to reach a settlement, and you go dark on me after agreeing to, shall I say, certain terms? Yes, real fucked up. I'm moving my family to Kinston, yet again to accommodate you, not our kids, but you. 3, we really need you to keep the kids this week. We are trying to make plans here. It's real important that I hear back from you ASAP. 4, do not try to talk to me about anything at the exchange today. I have nothing more to say to you until I hear from your attorney. I have been writing what we agreed to, and I haven't said anything to anyone as you requested, but if Coley hasn't heard anything from John by the end of business, that Monday John returns from vacation, I will be sharing everything with my attorney, and I mean everything. By the way, you left their bag of clothes here on the floor after bugging me for so long about not returning their stuff. I will bring them today along with their tennis shoes. Keep the shoes at your house. Send them back with their sandals. I will ask my mom to braid little Grant's hair this week while you have them. Have him. He needs it.
And again, those are just a selection of emails and thousands that might be in Laura Ackerson's email box.
That's correct.
Okay. Additionally, as part of your investigation or part of your examination of digital evidence, were you asked to examine 2 iPods?
I was.
And are those iPod reports contained on those disks that were previously entered into evidence?
They were. Or they are.
Published States Exhibit
5. Or I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
495.
495, thank you.
Right. You may publish 490 pod, which I showed 2 iPods.
This last, I guess, is your name on the front of this report?
It is.
And is listed as Courtney Tremmel?
It is.
And does it have the date that you performed this examination of this iPod?
It does.
And was that June 19th of 2012?
I believe so. Can you make it any bigger?
Have one moment. I'm not sure that I can.
Okay.
try
I'll do
to-
my best to read.
Under device information, does it say Grant Hayes' iPod?
It does.
And is it listed as an iPod Touch 4G?
That's correct.
And does it list an email account associated with that iPod?
It does.
Is that granthayes@hotmail.com?
It is.
And as part of, I guess moving to the top of this, this says that it's a Lantern iOS forensic report.
Correct.
How do you go about examining an iPod, and what is Lantern?
Lantern is the forensic software that we use to examine Apple products, whether it be an iPhone, an iPod. And basically it does a data dump. It takes everything, we plug it in, and it just dumps all the data from that iPod and creates this report.
These jurors have previously heard from Detective D.C. Moore, who downloaded the cell phones.
Mhm.
Is it similar to how a cell phone is downloaded with the Cellbrite, where it just takes all the information and puts it?
That's correct. It's just a different, since it's an Apple product, it's a little bit different, but that is similar.
And so you took all the information that this report spit out from those iPods and put it into what's before the
Yeah, it
jury.
automatically creates the report.
Moving down, I guess there's a summary, and is there a note that appears to be some sort of number?
Yes,
Okay. And that's from July 19th of 2011 at what appears to be 10:47 a.m.
that's correct.
And additionally, does it note the internet bookmarks for this iPod?
It does.
And for one of these iPod touches, does that have the ability to go on the internet?
It does.
And is that via Wi-Fi or via a cell phone signal?
It would be through Wi-Fi. iPods don't have the 4G like a cell phone does, or 3G.
And this, of course, is iPod Touch from back in 2011.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, moving down to internet, this says bookmark. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And is that web history where someone has bookmarked a web address?
Correct.
And looking at that, does it appear to be paygoonline.com?
I can't see that, but I remember there being a website similar to that.
Additionally, were you able to get some of the internet history from this phone?
That's correct.
And in that internet history, does it give you a time that certain websites were visited?
It does.
Okay. This first one, I don't know if you can see it. July 15th of 2011 at 8:54 EDT. Is that
Correct.
true? Okay.
I think.
And EDT would be Eastern Time.
Eastern Time, yeah.
Daylight Savings Time. And is the title of that CarQuest Auto Parts Contact?
That's what it looks like.
Okay. And then the next internet histories appear to be for Google.com.
Correct.
And then these next several entries from July 21st, do those all appear to be related to this pay-as-you-go online website?
Yes.
And are you aware of what the pay-as-you-go online website is about?
Yeah, I went to the website. If you copy and paste it and put it in a web browser, you can go to that website. And I, excuse me, I believe it was a cell phone pay-as-you-go.
So where someone could pay to add minutes to their cell phone.
Exactly.
And moving down to July 21st at what appears to be 4:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, does there appear to be a Google search for AT&T?
Correct.
And then around 16 seconds later, there's a Google search for AT&T Pay-as-you-go.
That's correct.
And earlier on July 21st at 4:05 a.m., there appears to be a Google search for CarQuest Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's correct.
And additionally, on July 15th of 2011 at 8:43 p.m., there appears to be a Google search for Lowe's, and then Lowe's, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Correct.
And then under this Gmail heading, are there various emails that appear to have been saved under a Gmail account?
Yeah, they're not necessarily saved. They could just be cached in the iPod.
Okay. And then this section is listed as dictionary. Could you explain to the jury what that is?
The iPod and iPhones have a application per se called the dictionary. So when you type a word that they do not recognize, and similar to autocorrect, when you type a word that you don't know and it autocorrects it and you go back and say, no, I want it this way, it's going to save it in your dictionary. So it has a history of that word. So later on, like for names, for instance, like it wouldn't recognize Courtney, but if I went back and, said that's correct, Courtney, it'll save it in the dictionary.
And these are numbered 1 through high numbers. Looks like it goes all the way down to 116.
That's correct.
And that's not the frequency with which those words were used. That's just how the phone numbers them.
Yeah.
Okay. And for instance, line number 8 appears to be Bella, and line number 9 appears to be Park.
Correct.
Moving on, this section entitled Wi-Fi, are you aware of what that records?
When the iPod gets a signal for Wi-Fi, it logs it. So when you connect to a Wi-Fi, even if you don't want to or don't know you are, it's going to log it.
And this appeared on May 18th of 2011. It lists events as first joined Monkey Joe's,
That's correct.
and it's got some numbers after Monkey Joe's.
That's correct.
Do you know what those numbers correspond to?
I don't know. I can't read exactly what it is.
Okay. On July 12th at what appears to be 1:18 p.m., does it indicate an event last joined Monkey Joe's?
It does.
And on July 16th at 4:21 p.m., does it indicate an event of last joined, and then it has Belkin.4AB3?
It does.
And do you, what does Belkin make, if you know?
I believe they make routers and of that sort.
And on July 21st at 4:04 a.m., does it list first joined Idle Air?
It does.
And then are there photos additionally saved on this iPod?
There are.
And this first one, does that appear to be the defendant, Amanda Hayes?
It does.
And does it appear to be titled Lock Background Thumbnail.jpg?
That's correct.
Now, these pictures, do they appear to be, give a time and date for when they were taken?
They do.
And so, for instance, this
It's
picture-
it's about 5:15. Okay. I think we've stopped for the evening. Come back in the morning and pick it up at that point. All right, folks, you haven't heard it all. Please keep an open mind. Don't form or express any opinion about the guilt or innocence of the defendant or any matter in controversy. Be careful about your conduct and follow my previous instructions. We'll start at 9:30 in the morning. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. See everybody at 9:30 in the morning.